let's just begin with you. This is what was happening on Friday. You were here. Tell us more about this, and what do you think about the current development as far as police brutality is concerned?
Well, I had gone to Kilimani police station to check on my friend Moses Kuria because he sent me a text just like he did, I think, to most of his friends that he was under arrest. Unfortunately, by the time I saw his text, I was already in Kericho for my weekend activities. Fortunately for that particular weekend, my activities were going all the way up to Friday afternoon only. So when I was done with my activities, I came back, landed and drove straight from JKI to Kilimani. I checked on him because I was a little bit concerned because earlier on in the day, he had sent a message already and said that he's now okay. His lawyers have gone to court. They have secured a court order urging that he be released on bail of 50,000 Kenya shillings, and the police were to produce him in court on Monday at 11 a.m. After the weekend. Unfortunately, as time continued, as we got late into the evening, I think pressure began to mount because the police officers were under great pressure. And by the way, you may want to call it police brutality, but I personally look at it as a breakdown of constitutional order. Most, if not all, of those police officers in that police station are actually very law-abiding citizens, Debarl, if I may inform you. The problem, you have to appreciate that these are people who work in a stratified system. These are people who have got seniors who they report to. What do you do as a senior? And this is a question that the officers who are in charge kept on asking us, saying, I have read the order, I understand it, I know what I'm supposed to do, but I have been called and told not to dare release you. If I do that, I know what they'll do to me. They will either send me to far-flung parts of this country, very difficult working conditions, or perhaps they may even do the worst, that is sack me. So you sympathize with our police officers, and I wouldn't wish to be the one castigating them and saying, oh, they're misbehaving. Even for them to have tear-gassed us, you know, because we were midway through a press conference and it was at 9 p.m. It was live on, I think, most of the leading stations. It's because somebody was angry somewhere and made a phone call and said, okay, so you have decided to turn your police station into, you know, a theater scene where people are coming to castigate the government and whatnot. So they were left with very little choice, if I may put it. Therefore, it begs the question, Debarl, and I think that is part of what will form the discussions in court this morning, because yesterday when we took Moses Kuria to court, there was a big arguments on which bail terms. First of all, his legal team, led by Dr. John Haminwa, wanted the court to first guide and settle the issue on which bail conditions was he out, because when they presented the court order, the OCS asked for verifications. The court verified and said these are genuine orders of the court. Then they later, after turning down that court order and in complete defiance refused to obey it, they later released him the following day in the evening on a police bond, something they should have done earlier in Moses Kuria. And also an assault charge or accusation is something that is bailable under our laws. And a police bond is enough to secure your appearance back to court unless there is any other confirmation that you may not turn up. Therefore, that issue that was canvassed greatly. Unfortunately, the magistrate didn't issue any particular orders, and she said that she will give a more detailed ruling this morning on what is actually happening. And you could see her struggle, by the way. You also must appreciate the kind of environment that our judicial officers are operating in. It's a place of great intimidation. You have got to appreciate that many of them, even as you watch them take their notes in court, listen to the arguments, they know what is right. They even want to say what is right. But there is a huge cloud that is hanging around our judicial officers. Therefore, this morning, I would wish to send a message to about 2 or 3 gentlemen. First is to the Inspector General of Police. And this is a point that we've conversed many times before on this particular show, that IG Hilary Mutyambai, that history will judge you extremely harshly if it will be noted that it was during your reign as Inspector General of Police that police was returned back to the very sad days of being a department at the office of the president, where the instructions from above were the order of the day as opposed to what is contained in our constitution. I want to tell him that it is not yet too late, that he needs to take charge of his police force and do what is right as per the constitution. I know he knows what is right, because I say this, Debarl, because I participated in the vetting of Hilary Mutyambai.
Yes.
And I saw the answers that he gave us for each of the questions, including this particular question on what he will do if there would be pressure from the executive for him to act outside of our constitution. And it was very clear that he'd be firm. So I'm saying, Hilary Mutyambai, can you live true to the answers that you gave when you appeared for vetting before the people of Kenya via their representatives? Secondly, I'd wish also to request the DPP, Director of Public Prosecution, Mr. Nurdin Haji, that even him, because him and the police work very closely. And when we were in court yesterday, they were asked, are you privy to the kind of games that are being played by the police, abuse of a judicial process? Because even yesterday, as we were presenting Moses Kuria in court, there were police officers that were hanging around Milimani law courts, and they wanted to rearrest him for a different issue. Just trying, it is an act of political intimidation that we have become used to.
Right.
The final thing that I want to say to my friend Otiende Amolo, and I said this to him on Twitter, I haven't seen his reply, so I want to believe that perhaps he has been busy. The constituency having been a weekend and he hasn't found time to reply, is that at what point do this game ends? Where last time we were celebrating, this is now where the part that I take the cloth of, joint responsibility, if I may put it, because I at no point have ever celebrated police brutality, neither supported those kind of actions, but just wearing the banner of collective, in the spirit of collective responsibility. Where do these games end, Debarl? We celebrated last time. It is now time for Otiende and company to celebrate. At what point do we become sincere citizens to this country and say, let us just stand up for what is right, even if it is going to benefit those that I consider to be my enemies? We need to be firm about it. If we can begin to do that, then I think we will have a better nation. But as it is based on political leanings, which is really unfortunate, and that is not what a model of democracy should aim